Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hi, hello, sorry about that. As we get back into this, we're actually 2 minutes in, so I didn't miss too much. Luckily, there was no proxies or anything. Let's do the proper introduction. Spawning here in the lower left corner of the map, it is our blue Protoss player, starting up anew in another best of 3 in the semifinals. It is Stardust. And his opponent in the upper right corner of the map. He's yellow, he's Protoss. He's also a very popular board game. It is Risk. And just catching up on chat there, thank you guys for doing the introductions for me in chat. That's pretty hilarious. But okay, we actually have, as I just quickly reassess what's going on here, we got very similar openings coming out of both players. We do have Risk scouting, but Stardust is actually scouting this time, which I find a little bit funny because, of course, in the last series he didn't. Not that he needed to, but I guess maybe expecting more out of Risk than he was out of Snipes, we'll have to see. And, okay, cool. I feel comfortably back in this now. Sorry, I was just reassessing supply counts, resource intake, and all that stuff, because I want to make sure I didn't miss anything too extravagant. Now, in PvP, again, like, you guys are probably going to see a good chunk of PvP in your lifetime, but I've seen a lot of it, and my favorite thing about PvP is the fact that a lot of strategies get based off of 1 or 2 base play. There's not, like, when you play Terran versus Zerg, for example, you're expecting, like, okay, you know, there might be split map, it'll go to like 40-minute mark, but for Protoss versus Protoss especially, you're like, look, this is probably going to be off 1 or 2 bases, so there's going to be a lot of micro-focused play. And it's really cool watching micro battles, like, you know, individual stalkers blinking one at a time, all these little tiny things, because it's, I don't know, it's more dynamic for me to watch than the huge clashes of macro fights. Not that I have any problems with that. Macro fights are very exciting when you see like 40 Colossus versus 40 Colossus, but, or Colossi. But I do like those micro fights. Now, Stardust actually knows this is coming. He's got the probe up here, very boldly going to try to place some of this down. Force field on the ramp will keep him out of the base, and this pylon is actually in a terrible position. There we go, putting it a little further back, but this is just 3 gates of pressure. I want to emphasize this, guys, of pressure. Now, the downside is he doesn't have a mothership core to pair with this. Otherwise, right now, Risk would be shooting the top of the ramp. He'd be picking off these sentries, and this would not be an issue like it currently is. Stardust though say, you know what, I will hold this ramp all day, and I will go offensive. Gonna put down this proxy pylon so we can try and get around Risk's army. And Stardust was a good movie, Dothead. I actually really like that movie. I shouldn't, probably, but I do, and did. Robert De Niro being the pirate guy was awesome. But Stardust, I like this. He's keeping us cool. It's really easy to panic. He's got enough sentries. I think, actually, no, he doesn't have enough to infinitely force field this. Does have to be careful. Allows the couple to get up here, perhaps on purpose this time, so he can start picking away at them. Stalker going to try and scout at the very least, but man, have you guys ever seen sentries do this much damage? I guarantee you, you probably have not. Now, Stardust has only got a meager 3 Zealots warped in here, but of course, Risk has a Stalker at home. He can technically kite all day, but it's not something you really want to have to do, because Zealots don't really go down that quickly. Yeah, some Zealots of his own coming in, and his own force field. Risk can actually catch these Zealots now on the sort of rebound, but Star busts out of his base and cleans up the pylon, going to throw down his own Nexus. And this is what I really admire about Stardust. He's a player who will expand. He doesn't, you know, okay, I was locked in my base. Big deal, big whoop. I will expand off this, and I will beat you in the macro if you do not expand. And that's kind of the scary thing for Risk. He's putting down a lot of tech. He's going 1 base robo, and oof, I don't know about this, guys. Colossus, while scary, they get taken out by Immortals very quickly, and that's something that Stardust has available to him. And I believe Risk did scout the robo. He saw it building at the very least. While he might not have confirmed it, he should have seen and known what it was. But we have Stardust pushing out with sentries, and this is... I don't know, these have been very good sentries. I'll just leave it at that. We'll see if they can continue their job as he moves forward. Expansion coming down here for Risk. I mean, it's not like he's behind by probes or by any means, but he's like a whole Nexus behind his opponent. But in lieu of that, he's got a Colossus way before Stardust really has anything that can deal with it. And while these sentries are cool, they're not going to really do too much to Colossus. Some nice force fields trap off these units, getting some free hits here. The Immortal also very much so dangerous. It's not a massive unit. He will catch this Immortal. The sentries with their very quick DPS will tear through those shields. And what the hell is happening here? Stardust with a massive Sentry push is just doing insane amounts of damage here to Mr. Risk. I'm just flabbergasted. You should never be able to do this much damage with Sentries. The Colossus is about to pop, but quite frankly, guys, the Immortal across the field now, the Colossus without extended Thermal Lance cannot really take a favorable engagement, but the Immortal's actually in the middle of nowhere chasing down these Stalkers. Stardust, what are you doing? No! The Immortal getting focused down here. Sentries are still alive, but he turns this around, and what is happening? Risk is attacking his own Colossus. Guys, panic is afoot here for our yellow Protoss player. Sentry's now moving in. He, of course, can't really force field anymore. Colossus does break it as it walks over it. But despite having the Colossus on the field, that lack of extended Thermal Lance puts it very closely in range, and now with the Immortal sniping it off, it has 29 health remaining. And guys, Stardust, despite having this Immortal, may have won this game with his Sentries. This is like, go to Reddit, make a post about this, and he actually recalls out, he doesn't lose a single thing! Oh my god, what the hell is happening here? Neither player really losing too many workers, but Stardust picking up so many army units of his opponents. If he could have got the Nexus, I think that would have been the perfect seal the deal type thing, but we have a double Stargate follow-up. And this is actually really cool, because of course, while Void Rays, you know, in small numbers aren't very good, as soon as you have like more than 5, there's nothing that contends with them very nicely. You need Archons. Archons, Archons. They're the only way to really break a big Void Ray ball. Hello. Oh man, this is actually kind of rough here for Risk, I gotta say. Awkward pylon going next to the other pylon, that's why I said hello, okay. But oh, Stardust gonna utilize some really cool tactics here, gonna go in with the Warp Prism and do some drop play. And this is gonna work quite nicely because we look at the army here from Risk. He has no anti-air. I don't mean to say he has a very little amount of anti-air. He literally has no anti-air. He cannot pick off this Warp Prism. Now, of course, he will warp in Stalkers and he won't let this go unattended, of course, but guys, you can two-shot freaking pretty much everything with Immortals. Pick off pylons, pick off probes, and again, still no anti-air, no warpins of Stalkers of any kind. He's relying on the Colossus. And yeah, Stardust, just say he's got to turn around. Oh, what a sick move! I was like, why is he waiting so long? He has hallucinated a Warp Prism, guys. He's going to send this in. Risk is going to think, oh, I'll focus my energy on this Warp Prism that's hovering outside my base, but really, the main one, the true Warp Prism coming into the main, this is special tactics and then some. Now, the Warp Prism is going to distract the army here. So right now, his opponent Risk is not looking in the main. He's just going to start picking off units. Does a huge warp in to follow this with Zealots. And these workers are just getting shredded. Already picking off about 10 workers at this point, 12 workers. And of course just picks up with the Immortals and leaves. Risk still not warping in any anti-air. I'm a little confused. I mean, you don't warp in the stock. Okay, I shouldn't say I'm confused. Guys, he's not warping the Stalkers because he doesn't want them to get picked off by the Immortals. The Immortals will shred the Stalkers, but he's got to find some way to shut down this Warp Prism. Behind this, Stardust has 3 bases. He's got double Void Ray production. And if the lack of anti-air at home wasn't bad enough, the lack of anti-air when he comes across the field with these Colossi, this is going to be devastating. Look at this. Actually, Stardust could literally win this game with just his Void Rays. There's only 2 Stalkers. If he prismatic alignments, if he does the overcharged super duper damage move, whatever you want to call it, Kamehameha, laser beams going off, the Stalkers melt immediately. Good game well played is instantly called because there's nothing Risk can do. I'm just going to return to the game to watch these babies pop. Guys, that's really well played by Stardust.